Hi there, I'm Nancy Herring from Now We're Cooking. It's Tuesday and it's time for tips, tricks, and treats. And it's January 6th, so it's time to get back in the saddle in the kitchen. By that I mean you've gone through Christmas, you've gone through the holidays, you've probably eaten so many things that you don't normally eat, and you're tired of leftovers and your pozzole's all gone, and now what are you going to do? So these are some ideas for how to encompass a lot of your New Year's resolutions, how to eat better, how to save money, how to use up what's in your pantry, all of the things. So that's kind of where my take is tonight. I keep a very well-stocked pantry and we eat from it a lot. And by that I mean, I just put out a whole bunch of things. I always keep tons of canned beans on hand. I keep canned tomatoes on hand. I keep canned soup on hand. We keep pasta sauce, we keep rice mixes, I keep regular rice. So I always have a lot of building blocks. And if we have leftovers, I try and reimagine them into something else. So what I'm going to show you today, I've already done some things and we're going to just kind of play with all these building blocks because that's basically what they are. If you have things in your pantry, if you have things in your refrigerator, in your fridge, think of eggs, think of bacon, think of sausage, think of that rotisserie chicken that you haven't eaten up. Think of the veg in your crisper drawer that may be going to the dark side. In your freezer, do you have frozen fish if you like fish? Do you have chicken breast from Costco? Do you have ground beef? You know, if you've got some building blocks and you take a little bit of time to prepare them, then you can assemble things and everybody can do what they want to do. So to that means what I have done, I cooked 2 chicken breasts because I did not have a rotisserie chicken, and I just poached them with some seasoning and a little bit of, I did some water. So now I have this rich chicken broth, which I'm not going to use tonight, but I don't want to throw it away. I also sauteed some yellow and red bell peppers with some onions, mostly because they were kind of turning to the bad side, and I cut out the spots that weren't very pretty and sauteed them. I also made rice. Normally when I make a pan of rice, I season it to go with what we're cooking. If we're doing Asian inspired things, I'll often put ginger in it. I'll put cumin and oregano and garlic if we're doing a more southwestern type dish. I did it plain tonight because I'm gonna go both ways. But I have the skillet going because I'm gonna make a quesadilla. And I know that everybody makes quesadillas and everybody does them a little bit differently, but when we do quesadillas, we are usually using up leftover things. Oh, we got a little bit of that, we got a little bit of this. I sprayed the skillet with some non-stick spray, so I'm not going to put any on the tortilla. I normally have a can of refried beans, and I didn't have one, so I took a canned pinto beans and I whirled them up in the stick blender. So they're a little bit different texture than they might be. I can also use whole beans, but for me, they tend to escape out the sides of the tortillas. So I'm going to spread that around as much as I can. I'm going to put cheese a couple times because cheese is my glue. I'm going to use some of our shredded chicken. And if we had a Costco chicken, I would have just torn up some of that chicken to put on here, because sometimes you just get tired of doing it the same way. And that's one of the things, if you can't stand the same leftovers in the same fashion over and over again, these are ways that you can reimagine them, and maybe people won't even know. So I don't have any straight up green chili. I do have some salsa that I'm going to use, and I am going to put, as a little bit of filler, I am going to put some of this rice, even though it's not flavored. I'm going to sprinkle some rice in here. I'm going to do some beans, some cheese, and I'm going to do some of the veg. And because I don't have any chili on this right now, I have a little bit of salsa, and I'm going to throw that in. This may make it a little runny, but that's okay. It'll add some delicious flavor to it. So now I'm going to take some of the red and yellow peppers and the onions and put them so hopefully when you take a bite it won't completely, you won't have one long onion in your mouth. And then I'm going to do some cheese. and I'm going all the way to the edge so that even if the cheese leaks out, it will still glue, if you will, both top and the bottom together. If there was anything else knocking around that we wanted to move, I would put that in here too. I know a lot of people just do cheese, and that's great. I figure it's a good way to put all these things together. So, I'm going to take my top tortilla and put it on. And when we do quesadillas, I rarely fix anything specifically for a quesadilla. It's almost always what we have left over. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. And in a minute, we'll flip it. Okay, so I've got some oil on the top. So it's, whoop, little onion escape. So I've got these building blocks. What else can I do with them? If you want to make a bowl, and I just love the term bowl, if you use any sort of grain, pasta, rice, quinoa, anything like that, I'm using rice because that's what I have. I'm going to do an Asian-inspired bowl, and I'm also going to do a Southwest-inspired bowl. So in the Asian one, I'm going to start with some rice. And this is totally dependent on who's eating it. And that's why it's nice to let people fix their own, because maybe they don't want a whole ton of rice. Maybe they just want a little bit of rice. I am going to put a little soy sauce on the rice because there's nothing else on it. And if you'll bear with me a minute, I think I've got some powdered ginger over here. Yes. I like to put fresh ginger in when I cook my rice a lot. I'm going to give that a little stir so there won't be a big bite totally of soy sauce. Then I'm just looking around at what my options are. I've got chicken. I've got peas because I like peas and I wanted something with a little different color than the red and the yellow. So I'm going to put some peas. I'm going to put all the peas in there. You want all the peas?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Put all the peas in. If you don't like peas, don't use peas. That's all there is to it. I'm going to put some of the peppers and onion mixture. And because this is, if it was, when I do the Southwest bowl, I'll probably top it with some cheese. But this one, cheese does not lend itself to these flavors. And then I have Thai peanut sauce. Actually Thai sweet chili sauce, which I think is pretty tasty. So I'm going to drizzle a little bit on the top. And then before I serve it, I would pop it in the microwave for a couple minutes because everything is not hot because I did it earlier today. If you're doing it all at once, everything would be hot. But you've got a bright, colorful bowl that has starch, it has protein, it has vegetables, super easy to do. If I do the same thing with an Asian, with a Southwest inspired, again, I would do the rice. But this time I'm going to put a little bit of our salsa on the rice to start with to give it a little kick. And I also have a product called Mexican seasoning. Sprinkle a little of that. It's oregano, it's chili, it's dried onions, it's a little cumin. It's all together. I can do it all separately, but it's nice when it's all together. That's what's fun about some of the spice mixes is it gives you that building block without having to have everything out in your pantry. So this time, same type thing, some chicken. And this time I'm going to use some of the beans. I put some Mexican seasoning on the rest of these beans because canned beans don't have a tremendous amount of flavor. And so I'm going to put some beans in there. And then I'm going to top it with some peppers. And I put all the cheese in the quesadilla, so it's not going to have any cheese on top. But when I cook it for real, I will put cheese on top. So now I have a Southwest-inspired bowl. So real easy to do with building blocks that chances are you have. And this is getting ready to flip. So I want to peek underneath. This is a fish turner, which we use a lot. It's not quite ready to go. I'm going to turn it up a teeny bit. I'm okay using it on a nonstick pan because I'm not gouging into it, but that little bit of lip is really handy. So I'm going to let that keep doing its thing. If you are just down to the wire and you think, God, I have leftover rice and nothing else. Open a nice thick can of soup, put rice in your bowl, pour prepared soup over it, put it in the microwave and eat it. And speaking of soups, I did this one. This is what we had for dinner the other night. It's called a variety of names. You'll see it called taco soup, 7-can soup, 8-can soup. I'll give you a recipe, and the recipe is basically a can of pinto beans, black beans, corn, that you rinse and drain those things, a can of tomatoes. One of the recipes calls for a can of green chili enchilada sauce, a can of chicken broth, and then usually a packet of dry taco seasoning and a packet of ranch dressing mix. I do a variety of all of that, but I had the taco mix, I had the ranch dressing. I didn't put enchilada sauce, but I did put, I had a can of Rotel tomatoes, which have tomatoes and green chili, and then we had some chili left, and so I put that. And the kicker on this one, I used a can of chicken. And canned chicken, I've never used it until the last 5 or 6 years, and it is just marvelous because it's white meat chicken. It's ready to go. You don't have to do anything with it. You just have to break it up a little bit. Okay, ready? See if I can flip this. Whoa, there she goes. So that side, and I actually managed to knock out a pepper. So I think I can stick that one back in. Okay, we're gonna let that cook a little bit more. But this soup is a real easy thing to do. And again, if you want it a little heartier, put it over some rice, put it over some mashed potatoes. There's just so many options when you say, there's nothing to eat. Well, I hope that your cupboards are not totally bare, is the way to say that. So if you just at all times keep a couple cans of all these things on hand, then you're ready to make dinner in a hurry. That's good, that people will like. And if it's just you have various leftovers and you don't have to eat the same thing all the time. I'm gonna pretend that this is done. I'm gonna take it out. Do you think it's done yet? Let's see. Oh yeah, the bottom's nice and brown. So what we usually do is flip it out onto a large cutting board. Get a plate. So that red pepper does not want to stay with his friends. I'm going to stick him back in there. Push it down a little bit. And I would serve this with salsa to dip it in, and if I had an avocado, I would make guacamole to dip. So it just depends on what you have. But I've got delicious quesadilla filling, easy to do. So all of these things, my focus was, are they easy? Can you put them together quickly? Are there building blocks that are not hard to do? And the answer to me to all of these things is yes. So I want you to kick off the new year with some delicious recipes, reset yourself, reset your pantry. One thing that I will suggest is if you've got half an hour, go through the things in your pantry, look at the expiration dates. Some things it's best by dates. So some things are certainly good past that, but if you look at that date and you realize you've had that can of water chestnuts for the last 4 years, probably it's time to get rid of it. And the same thing with your spices. Open your spices and smell them. If they don't smell like anything, they're not going to add any value to your food. I read recently that this lady asked her adult children to give her new spices for Christmas every year because they're not cheap, but she said it really made a difference in her cooking. So that's my take on getting started for the new year. I'm Nancy from Now We're Cooking. We're at the northeast corner of Paseo del Norte in Wyoming. We are open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 4. We'd love to see you come in. We'd love to help you out spending that Christmas money that you got, or just help you get started for the new year. So thank you very much. I thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye now.